Howdy, howdy, everybody out there. I hope you're having a good day, whenever it may be for you. Just got done doing the ironworks over on TFR. Good friends Josh and Walt. We always have a fun time together. Those guys are great. It was really cool getting to meet them all in person, live. You know, that kind of changes everything when you get to meet these people in person. Um, it's one reason why going to the Denver conference was so cool, which is actually seeing all these people that you've been seeing and watching their videos for years, or just recently even. It's really I don't know, it makes them more real almost. But I'm excited. It's only gonna not gonna be too long of a show, hour tops. Going to get my manure today, horse manure, out on the farm. Get to go check out some of inner boundaries of, or the inner workings of Florida, away from the coastline. Kind of excited. This should be fun. And then it means that I get to do a bunch of gardening work, getting the garden ready. Planting's just around the corner. We'll probably get some seeds and some small starters to start planting our little guys. I got to check and make sure and see exactly when I can start putting stuff down into the ground. It's supposed to get a little chilly around here. Maybe a frost, but I know we can start planting potatoes and um, onions, things like that around here real soon. Carrots, beets, anything like that. Anything that grows underneath the ground. Working on a poncho. It's coming along slowly but surely. Been working on this thing since 2014, I think I started it. I wanted to have it done before my walkabout, but flat Earth kind of happened. Finding out the Earth wasn't a spinning ball in space, I should say, happened. Kind of changed a lot of stuff for me. I wanted to do a bunch of tests and experiments and make observations to try and disprove what people were saying, and it didn't take very long until I decided that I needed to take a step back and look at it and try to help people figure out what exactly this place was. Got some new stuff I'm starting to research now. It has to do with the eyes still. Um, there's still many more things besides the diffraction limit that can make it hard for our eyes to see. Um, but I don't know. I think the more that we can understand these things, the better. Even though I think all of this may have been accounted for in the diffraction limit, it's still good to understand. Hey, Liz. Thank you for jumping on over. Liz is a regular over on TFR at Ironworks. Let me, oh, Righteous Force. Hey, how we doing? I like that name. Well, what's going on with the computer? It's being awful slow. Yeah, we have a lot of fun over there on Ironworks in the morning. It's it's a whole lot of fun, to say the very least. We have a lot of fun over there. We always rip on. Hey, Ron, how's it going, brother? We rip on NASA a lot, poke fun, um, voice our opinions about our governing bodies, stuff like that. Ron, I was hoping you could make a video about the 5G thing you were today. Adam and I pulled apart his Wi-Fi router just to see how it worked, and we're checking it out and hooked the voltage meter up to it and stuff, and we're playing with it. But did you have to go into like your provider's network to change it? We weren't sure how you said your router was putting off a 5G signal already for the last 4 years. Hey, just Jack. How we doing, man? Hope the ride in is okay. You know, pleasant one. Not too much traffic or anything like that. I used to go out of my way to avoid traffic. And there wasn't much traffic where I lived either. I lived in one of the least populated counties in the state of Indiana. There was 3 stoplights in the whole county, all on one stretch of road. To the IP address website. Okay, thank you. I'll let him know, Ron. Awesome, thank you so much. Yeah, that should be something. We'll make a video about it while we're doing it. Yeah, it's I think that's something that everybody should know. Wow, so they were already putting off. I know autotype makes me so mad. So they already had the 5G signal out years ago from the IP address website. Okay. Oh, doing these big ones like this, it seems like you're not getting anywhere. Seems like the brown was this thick when I started doing this a few days ago. But I'm sure it's adding up. I'm just doing it so tight that the it's really a 4G and a 5G. Okay. Yeah, we went and actually took apart his router. Oh, thank you, Liz. Yeah, it's coming along pretty well. And they're real tight stitches. And when I pull them apart, you can't really see through them all that well. At first, I regretted doing it so tight because it is going to take so long to do. But when I'm done with it, I'll be thankful that I did. I would like to put a hood on it as well. My mom had a poncho when I was younger. She probably still has it, knowing her. But I used to borrow it from her all the time when I was delivering papers and stuff like that. Yeah, Jack. That's what I was, that's why I did it. A nice tight one will keep me protected from the elements and all that kind of stuff. It'll keep me warmer. I was thinking about doing one in hemp, getting some 20-pound hemp and doing a real tight poncho. I thought that would be pretty cool. We'll see. Maybe one of these days I'll upgrade. My walking stick, it's looking really cool. Um, I'll show it to you some other time. It came along really well though. I was happy. Um, Still some cracks in it. I probably should have got to it earlier. I was letting it dry out. You live and you learn. It's still nice and sturdy and strong, and that blue beech is an amazing wood. Yeah, and going to get some manure today. Okay, Liz. You have a wonderful day, ma'am. Take care, and if I don't see you before then, I'll see you on Friday. Yeah, she's an amazing lady. We met over on TFR. We have a lot of fun over there. It's early. Not quite awake yet when we start. Just about waking up by the time we finish. But yeah, we have a lot of fun over there in the TFR chat room. Ooh, I haven't done small ones like this in a while. Uh, yeah, it's been quite a while since I did real small stitches and used a smaller hook. This is a 5.5 millimeter. I'm used to using a 10 or an 11. So this was really, I just got to grab it in a smaller shaft. It's all right, Jack. Take care, brother. Have a great day at work, man. Don't work too fast. You don't want to work yourself out of work. Yeah, there's some space lettuce for you. Um, Here, let me see. I'll just bring it up here. You should still be able to see me just fine. Yeah, this will be good right here. You'll get a kick out of this. Let's see. We're gonna shut that thing down. Let's see. This one article, all kinds of nonsense on space.com, but there's a few articles I was just like, what? China's mission, blah, 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 far side of the moon. Space.com talking about Michelle Yao. The most powerful explosions in the universe are stranger than we thought, blah, blah, blah. Ocean moons, blah, blah, blah. Saturn and Jupiter are looking for life. Hubble Space Telescope will last through the mid-2020s. Garbage. On this day, image of the day, sub-Saturns may force scientists to revise idea of how planets form. Okay, here's the one I wanted to show you. Here we go. Talk about space lettuce. This is beyond space lettuce. Now we're talking about space beans. Astronauts could be growing beans in space in 2021. Why won't it let me see this? Oh, it's still loading. Let me give it a sec here. Yeah, beans in space now. I don't understand why they can't do this right now. Why it's going to take years for them to start trying to grow beans in space. I mean, they've been growing lettuce for how many years? Since like almost since the thing's been up there. Plants can smell or detect how much nutrition is available. Oh, okay, let's see here. I'm going to close this down a little bit. Okay. For freshly grown produce, space is truly the final frontier, but even astronauts will soon be able to abide by their mother's exhortations to eat more veggies. Following the much celebrated harvest of a head of romaine lettuce in 2015, I, I have trouble even looking at this stuff. But yeah, now they're telling, oh, we're going to grow green beans now, and it's going to. We envision a greenhouse with several varieties of vegetables. Well, then do it already. What are you people waiting for? This is literally just space lettuce, just nonsense. And it wouldn't bother me, you know? But they're teaching this to the people that are going to be taking care of us when we're old and gray as a fact. It's like Santa Claus. They're lying to us. It gets kind of infuriating sometimes. I mean, for the most part, I don't even look at what NASA's doing or anything like that. The dream of every astronaut is to be able to eat fresh food like strawberries, cherry tomatoes, or anything that's really flavorful. That's a dream of every astronaut, huh? Not to just hopefully get home alive and the dream of every astronaut. Recently wrapped up an experiment where lettuce grew in space and specialized planters that regulate all the gas of the plant. They do that down here. It's called hydroponics. They do it on large scales. And I understand up there the water's different. You have to really conserve everything. I don't get it. And you would think they would have plants up there already. Don't plants create oxygen? You think they would have them all over the ISS as natural filters? You would think. I don't know. I'm done with the space lettuce though. Yeah, it's been a. I'm excited. I get to go get some manure here in a little while. I'm gonna be leaving not too long, actually. I'm gonna be out at Adam's dad by 9 a.m. Help him move a couple of things, and then head out to the farm and get some of that gold, that black gold. Gonna have a good harvest this year. I thought it would rain more down here in Florida, but it may be a seasonal thing. They may not get, I thought it rained. It's only rained one time since I've been here. But I'm sure they have seasons just like, well, up in Indiana, northern Indiana at least, it rained pretty regularly. Every once in a while we'd get droughty, but having Lake Michigan right there really, that large body of fresh water, it just rained all the time. Ba-ba-ba-boom. Ba-ba-ba-boom. Oh man. Did I run? Yeah, that's what I figured. I think he said June. It really starts. Is that the beginning of hurricane season? Yeah, that's got to be freaky. Knowing there's going to be big giants. Like in Indiana, we have things, we have tornadoes. That's about it. And maybe a slight flood. The rivers might flood a little bit. The county I lived in was It was made for floods, though. The Kankakee Yellow River, or the Kankakee River, the Yellow River, and the Tippecanoe, or the Tippy. They connect up with the Tippy later on. But there's another body of water called the Bogus Ditch that all connected in the county I lived in. And there was a what's going on, Trav? There was about, I think they said, over 20,000 miles of ditches, which is just insane to me. It's hard to even fathom. But the Army Corps of Engineers, now listen to this. The Army Corps of Engineers, back in like, I don't know, 1907 or 1917, sometime back then, beginning of right before World War One, went into this rural part of Indiana that didn't have anything in it, and it was a swamp. Um, there's a big giant lake called English Lake, but like the center part of it was all a swamp. Well, supposedly kings and queens from all over would come to this place, and they would hunt. There was bear and elk and mink, or maybe not elk, bear and mink and deer and all kinds of stuff to hunt. Duck. I mean, there was everything around here. Bobcats, turkey. So, for some reason, they came in and they said it was to make more farmland. Now, this whole area around here, it's the whole area is still surrounded in farmland. There's farmland. This county next to us, the counties to the north, there's farmland. The county to the west, there's farmland, and the county to the south, there's farmland. Now, they said they came back in the early, I think it was 1907, I want to say, and they dredged out 20,000 miles of ditches to turn this lake into a big giant farmland. Big, lots of land. There used to be a bunch of little islands, and now it's all just rolling hills. And they turned a couple big portions of it into government land. And they have big, giant, they have electrical cables that run out to the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the woods, and then just run straight down into the ground. 3 transformers right on the edge, the very last pole before they start going down into the ground. And they say that there's big giant pumps down there that control some big giant, like, gates that open and close to let water in and out of certain things that are down there, but nobody's ever seen these things. I've always wondered what is going on out there. Why would they take this part of Indiana and turn it into farmland and spend all this money and all this time? I don't know. It just always struck me as peculiar. When you have nothing but farmland, why are you going to take a natural waterway, which Bass Lake, which used to be part of English Lake, is still, I think it's the third biggest natural lake in Indiana. So they could have had one of the bigger lakes in Indiana. It would have been the whole size of the county. They would have just left it how it was. It just doesn't make sense to me. It almost seems to me like they had found something and wanted to make sure. I don't know. I don't know. But the Army Corps of Engineers came in and just totally changed the terrain around here and turned a lot of it into natural wildlife reserve. So just a little history on Stark County, Indiana. But yeah, over 20,000 miles of ditches. Hey, flat world logic. How we doing? Just talking about some of the weird, peculiar going ons of northern Indiana, my old stomping grounds. There's a song by Van Morrison called "And It Stoned Me," and I always think about it when I'm thinking about home. Have you been back to the house you grew up in recently? Some people still may live in that house, but over the summer, my mom and I, we were in the area, so we went back to the house I grew up in over in Hobart, Indiana. We call it Hobart, 20 Fraser Lane. Man, did it look so different. So different. But that Van Morrison song talks about, and it stoned me just like going home. And it's weird when you see it from a different point of view, from a older point of view. Oh, that's cool, Trav. Yeah, just I didn't get to go into the house or anything. I drove by the front, but just driving down the block, so much stuff seemed so different. It was like a different world. I could have swore the hill leading up to, like, there was I wouldn't call it a main road. There was a highway that curved and went into downtown Hobart this way, and then one that went straight off to Valpo. And then I lived off a road, maybe a half mile down a road off that, and then I lived. It was a one-way road shaped like a P. So you had like the letter P coming off of a road, and as soon as you turned off that little road, it went up a hill and then leveled out. And that hill seemed like it was so much shorter, so much smaller. And I lived here till I was in, 21 years old. I was 7 or 8 or 9, or, a small child when I left this place. So the hill seemed so much bigger because I was smaller. I was full grown the last time I had seen this hill. And coming across it again, it just seemed like it was like a different place almost. Like it wasn't even the same place. It was weird. It shocked me. And maybe the terrain, maybe they did raise one of the roads or change the grading on it, or I don't know. But man, it looked so different. The houses still kind of all look the same. A couple were different colors. There was an old set of woods that they used to leave for us as woods, and there was a house there now. The woods were all torn down. There was a field that I grew up in pretty much. We just called it the field. 2 acres lined with apple trees and a pear tree at one end. We used to play in when we were kids. It was like our little park, our own private little, no jungle gym or anything like that, but a nice big field to play sports in and whatever we wanted to do. And 2 houses there. It was kind of weird. lot of memories there, though. So many memories. And I bet if, I don't know, I think it was Travis and I, we were talking about memories and how many we have all stuck up in our heads. But it's just being able to access them. It's where it becomes tricky. Seems like I'm barely doing anything to this. Each row is so small, but it's coming along. Time is it already? I'm only gonna go for a little bit longer, folks, and then I gotta get dressed and get ready. Going out to the farm, meet some horses. I can't wait. This is gonna be fun. Didn't get nearly enough sleep last night, but it is what it is. Yeah, I can't wait to see Addie's face. Uh, Adam's little girl when she sees the horses. She's a good kid. Smart man. And I mean, she's a 4-year old. So she comes with temper tantrums sometimes and stuff like that, and tired and cranky. Just getting used to trying to not nap and still taking naps. And it's a big transition going from taking a nap every day to not taking a nap. You got to cut them some slack when they're that age, you know. They're going through some stuff too. But she's a great little girl, man, and she's got such manners. She's always please and thank you, and it's just they're doing a wonderful job raising her. Gives you hope for the future, you know, when you see the young children acting. And don't get me wrong, she's not all prim and proper. She likes getting dirty and getting her hands dirty and playing in the dirt, running around barefoot. Yeah, she's not scared of anything like that. Or when it comes to being polite and having manners, they're doing a great job. Listened a little bit to Owen Benjamin last night. Now he is no longer willing to debate Eric DeBay. Doesn't want anything to do with a debate about flat Earth. Said he'll have a talk, but yeah, that's all he wants to do is talk about flat Earth. There is no more. Yeah, I'll kick your ass in a debate. He's pretty much under the notion that the Earth is not a spinning ball. Pretty sure he's just, yeah, he doesn't want anything to do with the debate now. So yeah, he did his part, I guess. Turned on a bunch of people to the idea of flat Earth. You know, hopefully. Well, yeah, I'm sure it did. Got a large number of people to at least look into it, which is all we're really, you know, trying to. That's all you have to do when it's the truth. is get people to try and prove the globe and see how impossible it is. Can't be done. Yeah, I think so too, Rich. I think it's staged 100%. Um, he's an intelligent person and he has a large following. And even if it has nothing to do with money or worrying about money or anything like that, you know, you know, if you come across something like this and you want to actually get other people to look into it, I think the way he's going about it would be the best way to do it. Not to come out and tell people, hey, you've been fooled, but to slowly let on that, hey, we've all been fooled. You know, like this can't be real. The way yeah, I mean, the way he's going about it, about, oh, this, I can't be a flat earther, I can't be a flat earther. This is crazy. This is crazy. I mean, it's a good way to grab people's attention and to just make them check it out, to plant that seed. And it's like I said, when it's the truth, when you know that something, there's too many inconsistencies with the globe. Yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah, I think he's genuine about it. He's definitely, not doing it for monetary this or that or yada 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 or disinfo. I mean, he does show pictures of him with a lot of, I don't know. It's hard to tell if everybody is if they're in the club or I don't know. I don't know. And are there good people in the club? I mean, even though you've done things and yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it all works. I don't want to know how that world works. I don't want anything to do with that world. But he's definitely helping to wake up a lot of people. Like I said, all you have to do is get people to look into it and try to um, disprove it yourself. I'm not saying by going and watching a couple debunk videos and saying, "Oh, look, yeah, that proves it," but actually putting some critical thought into it and looking at some real videos. Yeah, he's fun to listen to. I like his humor. It's witty. Some of it is, somewhat crude and whatnot, but he's good at his trade. And I could listen to people make fun of Joe Rogan like all day long. I love it. Toe Rogan talking about him being able to fit into a teacup. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's pretty entertaining, to say the least. Um, yeah, it is. It's entertaining. And I mean, I could do without it, no problem. But it's something that's easy to fall asleep to. I know THC Anthony was saying. Yeah, I forget which one. I think it was the one Karen B. He just seemed. I mean, it seems staged to me, but like I said, it's how. If I had a following already, it's how I would have done it. So instead of coming out and screaming, "Hey, the Earth is flat," like I did with so many people, just random people when I first found out without even knowing my song, um, not being able to answer any of their questions or anything like that, just saying, "Oh, just look into it. The Earth is flat," sounding like a lunatic. He is actually going about it in an artistic way, almost a, a good way to grab people's attention. He sat down and thought it through, and I think at least, yeah. Um, Let me know if that hat doesn't get there within the next couple of days. I'll call and see where it is because we're not that take too long to get there. Yeah, I made Rich an all black hemp hat. It turned out pretty cool. Yeah, I've noticed he's in he's infatuated with height. Being 6'7", like he says he is, I could see you being, very conscious of height. Lives in his own little compound out in Oregon. I guess not too far from THC Anthony. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it should be there any day. But yeah, I can check the tracking number and see whereabouts it is. Working on a poncho. It's really taken forever to make this thing. But when I'm done, it'll all be worth it. I know that. It'll be warm. Yeah, they're saying it's supposed to get cold. High of 48 down here. I'm not exactly sure when. That's what Adam was telling me. We're heading inland today into the country. I'm excited. That's where I enjoy being. There are a lot of people that live near the coasts. I'm not used to being in suburbia. Driving, traffic. Oh my goodness. It's it's odd to say the least. After that, I mean, when I was doing my little walkabout, I avoided cities, big cities like the plague. I think the first one I drove, well, I drove through Albuquerque out in New Mexico. That was probably the first large city I went through. Yeah, that had to be like the first large city I went through. Well, no, I mean St. Louis. I didn't go through St. Louis, but I visited Josh up there. I went kind of near St. Louis, but it wasn't like when I went into Dallas to visit my buddy, or we're not very far from Fort Lauderdale. Actually, there's a I wouldn't say a huge town, but there's some big buildings here. No way, is it out, Trav? Let me check this out. Come on, baby. It's not on YouTube, is it? Poking the bear? No, not Owen Jen. Is it the 39-minute one? Did you get your so you got your phone back? I'm assuming. Sweet. Yeah, I love that you play Isas. That's awesome. Yeah, everybody check that out. Yeah, we're thinking about trying to get 150 bucks scrounged up for Travis so he could they want to charge him $150 for his transcripts of his own court proceedings, which should be bullshit. That should be, evidence. That should be public record. It shouldn't cost. That's I've been thinking about it, Trav. It's been on my brain. I love that song he's put together. Hey, Flat. Yeah, we're gonna have to. I mean, anybody willing to take on the system like that and give it a go, at least, just stand up and have a conversation with these people to where they have to acknowledge to themselves that there's people out there that understand what we're doing and see that we're all a fraud. And if anything, it's just a slap in the face to them, a wake up call almost, or a hello, you know? And that's a good thing. That's awesome. Judd Nelson walking away from the Breakfast Club. That was a cool intro, Trav. I like it. Now that was under the Plain Truth, right?
Before we get into our regular schedule,
Or Red Hen Radio.
Run a clip from one of my favorite shows. I hope it becomes.
Oh, awesome, man. I'm not gonna sit there and play. I'd definitely be watching this though. Here, I'm gonna be jumping off here in a minute. I gotta get ready. I'm excited. I get to go get some horse manure for the garden today. I know that may sound crazy to most people, but being excited about getting some manure or even having to smell that manure, but I guess it's an acquired taste. By the smell of a skunk, um, because it reminds them of certain things. Um, the smell of stinky cheese for some people. There's all kinds of things that, different tastes, tequila, vodka, beer, things that the first time you taste them, you really don't care for them, but eventually you acquire a taste for them. Well, that's what I've acquired with the smell of horse manure. I've related it to um, gardening, which is one of my favorite pastimes to do. Yeah, it's an acquired smell. It is. But I love gardening, and it just, I don't know, it reminds me of being out in the country. You don't see too many horses in big rural downtown areas. So yeah, I can't wait. It's I've been excited for this day for a while, and it's finally coming. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get rolling here. It's coming up on 8 o'clock. Um, got a couple more rows. The old poncho. Um, just not working on hats right now because I've got a few in stock. And if somebody wanted anything special, I mean, I'll just go out and get the hemp and make it for you. But we got a big and some striped stuff. So if anybody's interested in a hat, you'll be able to find the details in the description box below. But yeah, thanks y'all for joining me. I always enjoy having chats with y'all while I'm working on my yeah, Rich, always a pleasure, brother. Thank you for joining me, keeping me a little more preoccupied while I'm crocheting away here. But yeah, y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the chat and all that kind of good stuff. I love you. Thank you for joining me. Good times for all here. Signing out. As always, thanks for watching.